assessing, you probably know this much, that external rotations here, right? Your femur rotates this way. Internal rotations here. When we do like a manual test, right now I'm assessing passive range, what I'm helping you with, right? Like I am doing it, you're doing nothing. Now if I said keep your leg still and really slowly rotate side to side like this and don't let me help you. So bring your foot that way. That's about as far as you can go. And now come to me. Do you feel your hip contract there? Is it cramping?
Yeah.
Okay, rotate the other direction. So visually, you have what we would deem sufficient range of motion. You are not tight. And this is where it's a misconception that people are like, oh, I'm running into issues, and therefore I need to start doing mobility and stretches. And they're not wrong to say they need to stretch, but it's a little bit misguided. Like stretching's a tool, but it's just a tool. If you're not tight and you're stretching, you're essentially using the wrong tool. You need a screwdriver, you're using a hammer, right? Look at it that way. Now, if you were restricted, we could obviously say we have to stretch and then there's a whole process to open you up. But if you're not tight, all the stretching in the world is not addressing the element of movement that you neglect. And it's probably gonna be either strength, neuromuscular efficiency, like can you contract your hips? Are your hips like turned off in a sense, right? I don't really know yet, we're gonna feel that out. But first we're gonna work on how well your pelvis moves. Then we're gonna contract your hip in a couple different positions and just hold that contraction and kind of ramp up that neurology, that tissue, right? Turn it on in a sense. Because you said just now, if you simply go this way, you get some cramping going on, right? And so like, I'm not asking much of your hip. Do you know what I mean? Like this is like essentially nothing and you're already cramping from it. So that's like red flag number one, which is a good thing because if I moved you and there was no red flags, then we have no direction for training. Do you know what I mean? So it's actually a good thing that we found that out. I want to do the other leg one more time and just show you the same thing in that if you go limp for a moment, when I rotate you, there's like some resistance there, like you feel a little bit stuck compared to the other leg, but it's not like obviously tight, right? If you were obviously tight, then that's obviously a different thing. If I have you go this way, again, oodles of range of motion. Now if I told you to do it on your own, real slowly, rotate this way. So you're definitely restricted your left hip and external rotation. It's worse than your right hip. This isn't terrible, but this looks worse compared to the other side. Do you feel more tight there?
Yeah.
You feel restricted? Okay, now come this way to me. And when you internally rotate, do you feel outer hip contracting, cramping, or nothing at all?
This one is like way less.
Way less intense? Okay, and so a couple things to talk about there. This hip doesn't turn on the same way. Did you notice that this isn't as responsive, right? You don't feel the same intense contraction that you did a moment ago, right, on the other leg. So the left hip needs to be able to contract internal rotation, and it needs to be able to lengthen external rotation. Do you see how it's two different things? So you need to be able to lengthen this outer hip, and you need to practice shortening this outer hip. Whereas with this leg, you don't really need much length. You're not nearly as tight, but you need to be able to shorten this because you cramp super easily. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna do pelvic hikes, and we're just gonna get your pelvis moving first, and then I'm gonna give you a couple drills to kind of ramp that up. So for pelvic hikes, notice that both of my feet are aligned with one another. What I'm gonna have you do is practice sinking into your pelvis and then shortening that tissue. So you're trying to connect with your hip. You can add degrees of rotation where I'm rotating the pelvis and then hiking it and then coming back up. It's gonna feel like your bone is like kind of popping out in a sense. You're gonna rotate, hike it, okay? And the whole time you're doing it, normally when we do your hip work, we're moving your femur, right, the thigh. This time you're moving your pelvis. So it's kind of tackling your hip from a different angle. Let's get you up on here. You're gonna do your right foot on the platform. The left foot's gonna hang off. You can hold onto this for balance however much you need. So from here, if anything stands out, speak up, because this gives us data, right? You need more data as to how to drive your decision making, because you're kind of shooting in the dark. You're like, I don't know why my hip's really bugging me. You know this, you know that, but we need to narrow it down even further. So this is the focused leg. What I want you to do is not let your knee move at all, and think about sinking into this hip. So think about dropping the left leg. Now pause there. Do you feel any kind of stretch in this right hip? It's okay if you don't. I'm trying to help you find it. So if I ask you something and you don't feel it, fine, no problem. Can you sink a little deeper into this pelvis right there? Pause. Do you feel pressure coming off of your big toe at all?
I'm on the edge of my foot right now, my heel.
The edge of your heel. So you see your toes are coming up. So push through your toes more. Keep this knee fixed. Can you sink into your pelvis a little bit more? So if I said hike that a little bit further right there, are you able to find a little bit more of a stretch? You see how you're feeling a length, right? We're creating length on your pelvis. And so right now your femur's still and we're creating movement through here, not from here. What I want you to do now is use the stretched tissue on your outer hip and pull yourself upward. So you're in this stretch position like this, and you're trying to clench your butt to pull yourself up. So keep that knee still and contract your glute, pull yourself up, squeeze, tuck your tail. You see how you're shaking already doing that, right? So when you start shaking, that's like new territory, right? Your neurology is like unfamiliar, it's neuromuscular. Let's train that. That's a compass. We're getting kind of guidance with you. So now hike the pelvis again. Very slowly keep that knee still. Think about dropping your left foot more. Yes, right there. Do you feel that stretch going through your pelvis a little bit more? Now come up again and squeeze your butt. Squeeze your butt, pull yourself up, squeeze, tuck your tail more. Think about posterior tilt. You see when you posteriorly tilt, that really gets that shake going on. So your pelvis, I want you kind of rocking it under you. And now sink again. Think about hiking to the right side. Yes, a little bit more. Pause. Take a big deep breath and see, can you get a little bit further there for me? And so all we're doing is trying to bring this side down and bring this side up. Can you straighten your knee a little bit more and pull your hip forward some? Stack yourself. Now can you hike a little bit more? That. Do you feel that more than we did a moment ago?
Yeah, more on the side.
Do you feel your toes coming up?
Not as much.
Not as much as before. Okay, I want you to maintain even foot pressure if you can help it. That's gonna change how your hip is stretching. What I'm gonna have you do now is notice that this is all pulling open. What you're gonna do is rotate your pelvis. And so right now, this is still, right? Like your femur's still, and we rotated your pelvis around the femur. That's all we did. Normally when we do hip mobility, it's this stuff, right? Like keep the thigh moving with the pelvis still. This time, I'm telling you to move this and keep this still. You feel that stretch? Yeah. Now you're internally rotated, right? You see how you're training internal rotation here. Take a big deep breath, and then what you're gonna do is maintain that stretch, keep the hike though, and begin externally rotating. Sink a little bit deeper, yes. Do you feel a different stretch than you did a moment ago? Okay, does this seem more uncomfortable than the other side, than the other rotation?
The other rotation was more uncomfortable, I think.
It was, okay, so now pause. Can you sink deeper into that? Right there, pause, hold, keep your foot pressure. Now maintain that position, and now use your butt to pull yourself up. Squeeze your glute, tuck your tail. Tuck your tail, keep tucking your tail. More, more, more. And now sink back into that. So you're hiking, yes, there. And now come back up. Do you see how hard that is for you? Yeah. That's okay, then we're trying to pull this apart. This is part of the process, is kind of learning how to move within your hip. Now sink into it. Good, and then pull back up again. Yes, squeeze your butt, squeeze your butt, squeeze your butt, tuck your tail. Beautiful, and then sink back into it again. Drop your left leg to the floor, stack yourself up. Beautiful, and then come back up, squeeze your butt again. Squeeze, 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 exactly, again. Watch that knee, you see how your knee wants to bend, right? I want this being the only motion from the pelvic bone. Come back up again, squeeze. Tuck the tail under you, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. Good, one more time, sink into that stretch, but now rotate, internal rotation. You feel the stretch in a different way than we did when we rotated you the opposite direction. You kind of see where we're going with this? Breathe, get your composure. I can tell you're feeling a lot of new stuff, right? So good, we have direction. You need to get better at moving the pelvis relative to the leg, right? It's two different things. And in hip mobility, everyone talks about the hip, but people don't talk about the pelvis. And you have to tackle it from both ends. If you miss one end, then you're missing a large part of the equation. One more time, you're internally rotated there. You feel some gnarly stretching going on, lengthening. You feel the stretched tissue. Now that tissue stretched, can you use that tissue to pull yourself up, but don't rotate away from me. So stay facing me, and then yeah, exactly. Squeeze your butt and tuck your tail. Squeeze the glute, more, more, more. That right there, pretty uncomfortable. Sink back into it. Sink back into it. Right there, you feel the full stretch again. And maintain that foot pressure. Squeeze the butt again, pull yourself up. Nice, one more time, and then we'll explore the other side, and you can compare that and get a little bit more data for yourself. You feel the stretch again, and then use that stretched tissue to posteriorly tilt. Tuck the tailbone, use your abs too, both at the same time. Does that make sense? And so all you did was a hip hike, a pelvic hike, but if you were to go online and look this up for like a cookie cutter mobility program, people would tell you to just stretch and come back up, but what did you and I do? We added the rotation to it, right? And you kind of played around with different positions, and you found that the positions going this way was a whole lot harder for you. And so this would be part of your warm-up. Before you go and do weight training, you're trying to prime your hip, you're trying to connect your nervous system, right? Your neurology, ramp it up, so that when you go to like do weight training, it's just more responsive. So you're getting pain in your hip, it's like a check engine light. We just changed the oil. Now let's hope that you feel a little bit better after that, and if you do, then you just have to keep performing that. We moved your pelvis, we established what motion there looked like. The next part of the equation, trying to narrow down your hip, is always gonna be internal rotation, every single time. Now we know you have oodles of internal rotation, right? Like you have plenty, it's more than enough. You're considered like hypermobile here. So if you are somebody who has a ton of range, stretching is not what we need, right? That's not a good use of your time. What you're gonna do is contract your hip to strengthen that range, right? And it's gonna be pretty simple. What I want you to do is keep your foot here to start. What I want you to do is start by driving your left knee into the block. When you drive your left knee into the block, like if you're trying to break my finger, do you feel your inner thigh tensing there? So you found the adductor. When we're training internal rotation, finding your adductor first is really important. So I don't want this block to be lax. I want there to be pressure applied through here. While there's a pressure applied through here, bring the foot out this way. So you have like kind of a two-way street going on here. Knee is going in, ankle is going out. Do you feel your hip tensing here right now? Cramping. Okay, it's cramping. I see your quad shaking. I'm not sure people in the video can see it, but we can see your neurology is like kind of going crazy. Do you notice your spine is contorting a little bit? Drop your shoulder, just try to keep your spine completely neutral. Keep pressure against my finger here, and keep contracting this. So we can go about this a couple different ways. Way number one is you hold this until you fail. I can sit here and time you and contract, right? You're just holding this, and eventually your foot would fall if I told you to hold it long enough. And you can put an ankle weight on here, right? You have other options for that. Break my finger even more, knee in. You notice when you drive the knee in harder, you get a deeper contraction on the outer hip, so don't lose me there. You see how we're starting to shake even more. Keep holding. I have you on a timer. You've been going for 25 seconds since I put the timer on. Don't lose the knee. Keep your ribs down. Tighten your stomach. Break me here. Keep holding. Give me another 20 seconds, and then I'm gonna show you what else we can do here. Good. Break my finger. Come on. More adductor. More adductor. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. See, you're already shaking. I'm not really asking a whole lot of you either. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Option number 2 is to load it, and you can use a resistance band. Clamshells are like really popular. People do clamshells for their butt, and a clamshell is a fine exercise. What's even better is a reverse clamshell. And so what you're gonna do now is the exact same thing. Finds the inner thigh. So the knee going in gives you the adductor. Once that's turned on, box checked, ankle out. Now you have a resistance band. And so now you're loading it. This band is pretty light. I have a thicker band if you wanted it. This is probably enough for you at the moment. You're like, yeah, that's plenty. So we start here, right? We're working within your means. But my point is now you're building strength here, okay? And the goal is that it gives you less problems because you can withstand load. You're pretty weak, you're shaking, and all you're doing was holding your foot up. So let's make you stronger. Don't lose the inner thigh, harder. Good, don't lose that, come on. Squeeze, ankle out. Let's say another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. You felt how hard that was. I want you to now do the other side and compare it. So again, same thing, knee in. Can you find your adductor? You see how much harder you're able to press through this right knee too? I can feel how much more pressure there is here. When you do this side, one thing I want you to focus on is how hard you can push the left knee in, because that's gonna ramp up the hip even further. You notice how much more responsive that already is. One goal is for this leg to kind of follow suit and make this leg lead the way. So you found the inner thigh, ankle out now. Cramping already, breathe, hold it, hold it. Show your system that this is a safe space. That's all it is, right? You're trying to drive your knee inward, the ankle's going out, we got the two-way streak going on. You're not hiking at the pelvis, your spine is nice and neutral, and we see the legs shaking, we see the muscles kind of quivering, we like that. You're gonna go for another 30 seconds, and we're gonna add a band to it again, and then we'll see how you're feeling with that. So let's go for another 20. Keep that knee hard inward, keep that ankle out, beautiful. Keep trying to run away from me, good. You got another 15 seconds. If you had a partner, your partner can start pushing. Don't let me win. Don't let me win. Don't let me win. Keep going. Don't let me win. Come on. Come on. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can see how you could do like eccentric loading, right, where you're resisting me. That's another option. We did the band as another option to load you. Again, there isn't one way to do this. I'm just showing you different tools in your tool belt. One last time, knee in. You feel the inner thigh. Good. Box checked, ankle out, contract that hip. I'm gonna ask you for another 30 seconds there, and then we'll move on. And that's it. We'll see how you do with that. Already shaking, good. Keep squeezing, and now can you squeeze any harder? If I asked you to squeeze the juice out of your hip, can you just empty your gas tank? Meaning ankle in or knee in, ankle out simultaneously. You're running away from me down here, you're driving into me here. You got another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make sense? So we mentioned when you were on the table over there to start, that you didn't feel your hip fire on the left side very much, and then your right one cramped. Those are two different issues. It didn't fire, meaning that your neuromuscular efficiency is deficient, right? You're deficient, it didn't ramp up, it wasn't responsive. So why would that tissue fire when you squat? Or when you walk, right? Just like daily walking, right? It's dormant in a sense. This leg cramped. It was responsive but weak. You have options to strengthen it, whether that means you just hold the weight of your leg there, whether that means someone pushes on your foot and you fight back like we did on this side, whether that means you have an ankle weight, whether that means use a resistance band. But those are just different ways for you to load internal rotation. And you notice on this side, when I said push your knee in and then ankle out, you couldn't drive your knee in that hard on this leg. So what can you do to work on that? The inner thigh machine, right? Learning to do adduction, getting stronger on the adductor machine can help improve this too. Does that make sense? All right, questions on that? No? All right, let's get you up. Let's have you walk around, just see how you feel. We'll talk about it. Yeah, I bet. Thank you so much for watching the Bodybuilding Not Body Breaking YouTube channel. If you found it helpful, drop a comment, like, subscribe, share it with a friend or family. That stuff really helps us in expanding our reach to popularizing this training approach, because we know there just isn't a better way to do things. If you have interest in diving deeper into the stuff you just watched, feel free to join our school community. On our school community, we have a lot of additional content. We have an exercise library that has over 200 different movement options. We have programs. We have additional videos that are concepts, lectures, and rants to give you guys a deeper understanding as to how and why we do things. We also have a discussion board where you can get direct access to coaching feedback from me personally. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for additional updates for when we post new content. Thank you again for watching, and we hope it was of use to you.